I just downloaded the OLLAMA and then let me check. So the file size is 2 GB. Okay, so if your computer is quite, if you have more space to install this OLLAMA, yeah, you can try. But if you think that this is too heavy for your laptop, you can skip and then you can just take a look on my explanation. So maybe later on, or if you need this kind of environment, yeah, you can use a good computer. Maybe you can use your desktop in your home, or you can use the computer in the room 203 in this room, for example, for your final project, for your graduation project, and etc. Uh, do I need to? So I will do with the administrator. Yeah, if you connect to your laptop, I think it is more personal because this is the computer from the university. They have some security. So I'm not sure how to handle the security. So let me just use my laptop for this experiment. So what is OLLAMA? So OLLAMA is a tool for running the large language model. So we are using the LLM. And this will run locally. So it means you will use your own computer to run the LLM. So it allows developers to use any AI model such as LLAMA, Mistral, Gamma, and Qwen. And it is the good thing, we can use this LLM without relying on the cloud APIs like the OpenAI. If you are using the ChatGPT, okay, I think now people many use the ChatGPT. In the ChatGPT, you have the OpenAI token. OpenAI token. So if you need to use the OpenAI token, you need to pay some money. But if you are using the OLLAMA, it is free. It is you can use the small version, you can use the higher version, you can use the small parameter, you can use the high parameter, and etc. with your local computer. So it's free, okay, because you don't need the API because it works in your own computer, and then it is in local. It means it can work offline. So without internet, you can still do. Maybe you can do the AI agent and other things, and the privacy. So the data stays on your computer, so you don't need to share all any kind of data. And easy installation. So actually, if your computer is your personal computer, then you can just install it and then it works directly. And API support. So if you want to integrate with the fast API, it is not that complicated. Yeah, install the OLLAMA in your local computer because the computer in 203 in this computer, it is not working well. So I will just give you the example in my laptop. Once you finish with the installation, so you can download the model. So what are the models that you want to use? Let's say you want to use the Llama 3. So you can do the OLLAMA pull Llama 3. And then you can check the model in your list. For example, yeah, you can use the OLLAMA list. Now I will teach you. So in this environment, you can check the we call it PowerShell. Okay. So in Windows, they have the Windows PowerShell. You can use the Windows PowerShell or you can use the Windows command prompt. If you use the PowerShell, yeah, it goes to the command prompt like this one. And then you can check OLLAMA. Let's say I'm going to check what are the models that I already included in this computer. So it mentioned that I have the model KEMA with 27 billion parameter. And then I have the DeepSeek with R1 with 14 billion parameters. So let's say let me just use the llama at this time. Let me pull the llama. So I will do the OLLAMA and then pull LLama. Oh, sorry. I need to OLLAMA pull LLama 3. So the Windows prompt will automatically download the model. If you look at this progress bar, the model it is about 4.7 gigabyte. Okay, so it is quite high. So that's why you need to select the best one. Before this, I mentioned to you, okay, about the model. So I also mentioned this one, the model from the OLLAMA. The LLama 3, it is a standard. So if you want to use pi is very light, very small. Means the size might be smaller than the Llama 3. Gamma, yeah, the size is light. So yeah, it depends on what you want to use. So here the Gamma with 27 billion parameter, the size is about 17 giga. I use also DeepSeek, it is 9 gigabyte. So if you are using the LLama, the size is 4.7 giga. But this is only the first part. Okay, so it depends on the version. And then if you use the Q1, yeah, the size is medium. And because the Q1 has been developed in China, it is good for the multilingual. So you can use the English, you can use Chinese and other kind of languages. If it is success, then yeah, everything will be like this one. You can get the final result success. And then you can check again OLLAMA list. Then you will see that now I have the 3 model. Okay. So the first model is the LLama as the latest one. And then I have the model KEMA. And then I have another model DeepSeek. And then after I have the model in my computer, so you need to check whether this OLLAMA success or not by clicking on this link. So the local host means this is your computer. And then there is a port number 11434. So yeah, if you do not turn off your computer, OLLAMA will work all the day long. So you need to check this one. Let's say I'm going to check here. So you can see, yeah, OLLAMA is running. So when you finish with your installation, you can check that this is already running in your computer. So if it is already running, then now you can start to build your project. Okay, for example, I will create the main.py and then I will create one HTML file. So the HTML file is only the chatbot. Okay. Now let me just copy and paste. And then I will let you know. I will explain this after I finish with this copy and paste. Is it clear? Okay, let me just change to the light. Yeah, this one is better. So let me just create a new project. Oh, REST API LLM. Okay, and then I will just create the pure Python. And then I will make a new main.py. Okay, let me just copy and paste this main.py. And then first I need to connect to the HTML. So this is the connection to the HTML file. Whenever you go to the home, and then yeah, this is the connection to the chat. I think it's the same with the previous one from the Hugging Face. So the idea is the same. So we need to get what is the user message, and then what are the history. So we need to make it as a JSON file. And after that, yeah, we can define what is the role of the user. And then yeah, we can define what are the messages. If this is the prompt from the user, so you can just explain this is the message from the user. If it is from the assistant, then you can just explain the message from the assistant. And then let me use the model from Llama. Oh, oh, it seems that I need to have one more. I need to have one. Do I need to have one more? Uh, Written outside the function. Yeah, I think I missed one. Mm, Wait a moment. I think I missed one of the parentheses. It is the same. Ah, sorry. I think this one should be here. Okay. Yeah. Python is very sensitive with the I call it the indentation. So if your indentation is not correct, then it will be error. Okay. So please make sure that the indentation is correct. In this case, there is a problem with this section before. And then after I finish with the main.py, so let's create uh, the chatbot.html in the folder templates. So I'm going to create a new directory, templates. And then I'm going to create the HTML file. So the HTML file here, I'm going to create the file name is chatbot, and then I will copy and paste the HTML file that I have in the PowerPoint. So there are 4 pages, so you can just copy and paste those 4 pages. And then, yeah, after you copy and paste all the 4 pages, you can see no error. Okay, I will explain this code one by one. Wait a moment, I need to. Okay, and it's the HTML. I already finished with everything. So basically it is similar with the Hugging Face, but now the model that we use is from different server. Now the server is from the local host. So if you look at this one, the local host is the server or the model that we are going to look at, and then we are going to access the API from the local computer. And I'm going to use the Llama 3, the latest. This is the model that I just downloaded. So because I have 3 kind of models, so I can choose whether I use the Llama or I use the DeepSeek or I want to use the Gamma. And then prompt means the prompt from the user and whether the prompt will follow with the result from the assistant. Stream equals to false. So if you look at the ChatGPT or any kind of AI, generative AI, you can see that they will give you one word every one word. But if you make the stream equals to false, then it will show directly all the results directly. The same with the previous one, we have the answer. If the answer is from the response, then it means this is the result from the assistant or this is the result from the model. Now let's take a look how if we run this code. Okay, so this is using the OLLAMA chatbot. So let's say, yeah, plan a trip to Seoul. Yeah, I'm using the same one, the same question. Yeah, it depends on the computer specification. If your computer is quite good, then you can run this OLLAMA very short. But if it requires some access, yeah, you can check this one. Now the code is 200. 200 means this is okay. But the access is quite low compared to the Hugging Face. Hugging Face is quite fast. Yeah, because I think my computer is not that good, and there are so many applications in my laptop, so that's why it is quite slow. Mm. Hmm. I think the model, the llama is not that big, but yeah. Okay, let's wait for some time. It's really slow to get the result. Okay, so now the result is this one. Seoul, what amazing destination. Here's a planned trip to help you make the most of your time in this vibrant city. When to go? The best time to visit Seoul is during spring, March to May, and autumn, and so on. So they give you the itinerary and these things, okay, and also they have also the budget for the hotel, and then they also have the budget for the attraction and etc. Okay. Now, if you look at the HTML file, it is the same with the previous one. First, you need to get the bootstrap, and then I just call the class from the bootstrap. Yeah, I just have the fast API and OLLAMA. And then for every message in the messages, I need to put into the for loop and then check what is the role. So if the role is the user, then okay, put into this line. Else you need to put into this line. So you can see, yeah, this is the line for the user and this is the line for the system. And then yeah, we have a form. When we click to the submit button, we are looking at the chat. So this chat is from the chat in this section. And then yeah, I'm going to get what are the user messages, and then the input will be transformed into JSON. So it is the same with the previous one. And then after we transform into the JSON, so we just put the messages, which is a JSON file, into the model. The model, we are using the Llama 3 latest. Okay. Okay, so now let's try with some other configuration. I'm going to use the schema. Okay, I have the schema model. So I can change the model into the schema. Now let me run again. Now let me do the same question. Plan a trip to Seoul. Hopefully it is pass. Okay, there is no problem. The result is 200. 200 means success. Or maybe because I give the question very general. So let's see the comparison between the LLAMA tree and then the result from the schema, whether it is the same or not. It's very slow. I'm so sorry for this one. I think because one of the issue is the maximum token. Okay. So if you look at the previous code, when I teach you in the Hugging Face, we have the maximum token. This payload, it also can speed up your search or speed up your questions. Okay? If your question just no limit like this one, then it will make it also slow. If you have the limit, then it will make the response faster. Okay. Actually, I want to know whether the response is the same or not. Okay, the result is still okay. It means still success. Hmm. Okay, the result is about like 2 minutes. Oh, this is very long. Yeah, I think if you want to use the environment for the LLM, maybe you can use the Hugging Face for a better result. Okay. If your computer is not that high space like my computer, maybe yeah, you cannot get the result fast. Mhm. And the other thing that you need to know is the question. Maybe because of the question is too broad, then the LLM also needs to think more. And because the LLM needs to think more, so the time is also quite long. So if you have a very specific prompt, usually it will not be so long like this one. So let me continue to the next part, which is about the RAG. So this is the last section that I want to explain to you. So in the RAG, actually, this is one of the things you can do also in your final project, because your final project is diverse and you may need some kind of documents, or you need to have more information before doing with the LLM. So the RAG, it calls the retrieval augmented generation. So this RAG is a technique that allows an LLM to answer questions using external documents or the private knowledge. So if you have your private knowledge, you have your own documents, then you can use it for the text generation. It means that this AI cannot answer all the questions directly because maybe your question is too general. So in order to fit with your question or with your prompt, then you can put some kind of documents that related to your prompt, and then let the AI give that answers based on the document that you input. So we call this is the document retrieval, or we call this is the retrieval augmented. So the retrieval means the document that you have, and this is augmented to the generation. In the general AI, you have the question. So you will give the question to the LLM, and the LLM will give you the answer. But there are some problems. So the problem might be about hallucination. So the answer might be not good because your question is too general. And sometimes you cannot ask because it is too private. The data is only in your company. The data is in your computer. Or sometimes the LLM have the outdated knowledge. So the knowledge is already old enough. So you cannot ask with the current knowledge. So let me check. So the RR, oh, still working. So the RAG mentioned that it can reduce the hallucination. So whenever you have the document, so when you include the document into the LLM, then yeah, it will improve the result from the LLM to reduce the hallucination. And the other benefit is to use the private knowledge. For example, yeah, you have your company data or you have the internal data, and you do not want to share to the LLM. Because when you share to the LLM, it means you share your data to public, and you can get the latest information, and you don't need to train, you don't need to retrain, and then you will get the answer more accurate because the answer is based on the context. So now if you are running a company about food, then if you give the document about your recipe, the answer will be based on your documents about the recipe. If you are running a company about the software development, if you put the document related to your company, then it will give the answers based on your document. So that's the best thing about the RAG. So the workflow will be something like this one. First, you need to put the document. So you need to define what document that you need to input. And then after I have this document, so I need to retrieve the relevant information. So maybe if I have the documents, I don't need to put all those things. I can just retrieve the relevant information. And then you can add the retrieve context into the prompt. So you need to design the prompt. After you design the prompts, let the LLM generate the answers. So it starts from the document. Okay. And there are two kinds of RAG. The first is simple RAG. The simple RAG means you can just put entire document. So the whole document, maybe if you have document for 15 pages, you can put all the 15 pages. Or if you have document for 1000 pages, you can put the document with 1000 pages and then let the LLM solve the problems. In the real RAG, you can just retrieve the relevant chunks. So if you have 1000 pages, then you can just cut the documents to the relevant section. If you use the simple RAG, it is very good for beginner. Okay. But in the real case, in the real RAG, actually you need to consider the production system. So in the production system, so you need to cut off the documents to fit with your prompt. When you use the simple RAG, so today I'm going to let you know with the simple RAG, so you don't need to have the factor DB. But in the real case, when you do into the production, you need to have the factor DB. So I'm not teaching you the factor DB due to the time limitation. With the simple RAG, it is easy to explain, but if you are doing with the real RAG, you need to have a good computer or a good spec computer for doing this real RAG with the relevant channels. Let me check. Oh, still not working well. Okay, maybe I need to stop first. Let me check what is the result. Let me change, not using the LLAMA, I'm using the camera. Okay, let me just change. Plan a trip to Seoul on weekend. Maybe this is better. Seoul, South Korea on weekend. Hopefully it is faster. Yeah, this is okay. Oh, this is very long. I don't know why. Maybe sometimes after this installation, you need to restart your computer in order to fit with the environment. Okay, then let's have a break. Okay, I need to restart my computer and then let's continue after the break.